It's Drive Time with Holly. Business and consumer news you can trust. I mean, what else are you going to do sitting in traffic?
And welcome to Drive Time with Holly. I'm Deborah Roberts, and joining me is
Holly Sammons.
And we are going to be offering you all kinds of consumer and business information for the next hour. We got chock full of information, don't we, Holly?
That's right. We've given you just enough teaser information that we have a lot to dive into.
We do, and you know, this is a great opportunity for me because your normal host, Mike Yaffe, is taking a very well-deserved vacation this week. He'll be back with you again next Wednesday. But I have to admit, I'm going to use tonight's hour as an opportunity to kind of pick your brain and kind of ask some questions about the Better Business Bureau that, you know, I'm hoping a lot of other people have. I don't want to show too much ignorance about it. But at the same time, I'm going to use this as an opportunity to learn myself.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to it.
And we also have a very important guest tonight. The brilliant local attorney, Justin Clark.
I wasn't going to...
Esteemed, absolutely, Esquire.
I was going to cancel because I thought Yaffe and Tom Benson were going to be here. But when I found out Deborah Roberts and Rob Galbraith were going to be here, how could I say no?
How could you say no?
Good to see you, my love. It's
you
been forever.
You too. It has
how
been.
How are you?
I mean, you and I used to do a brokerage show back in the early days when I first started here. I have since found out you have a 5-year-old daughter with another bun in the oven.
Can you believe that?
I can't believe that.
I've come a long way. I'm almost like a real dude now.
You're all, yeah.
Real person.
And we, congratulations to you and your crazy Colombian, as you often refer to her.
Hey, watch it. Are we on the air?
Oh, yeah. Mike's on.
Well, you're half Colombian, too, so you can say that.
Yes, I am. That's why I know she's crazy.
Good to see you guys. Thanks for having me today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for joining us. And we're going to be talking about some important topics with you as well, including foreclosure and bankruptcy, which I know for a lot of folks who may have suffered some storm-related damage after Hurricane Irma, and maybe were on the brink of, you know, financial ruin before the storm came, and then expenses you weren't seeing. You might have some questions that you would love the opportunity to call and ask Justin. We welcome your phone calls, 407-916-5400. You can also text us your questions to 23680. Just be aware that standard message and data rates apply. So, Holly, first and foremost, let me just go ahead and let my stupidity show. What exactly is like the mission statement of the Better Business Bureau? Because real quick, I know as a consumer that when you see BBB accredited business, it's kind of like the good housekeeping seal. It means you can trust it.
Right.
But beyond that, and with you being the CEO of the BBB here in Central Florida, you would be able to maybe help myself and other folks who aren't really aware what the mission is of the Better Business Bureau.
That's right. So ultimately, our vision is a marketplace where buyers and sellers can trust each other. It's really just that simple.
What a concept.
Right? So we hope to, and we strive every day through a variety of programs that we offer to promote trust, to promote transparency, to provide a way as the impartial third party for businesses and consumers to settle disputes. Oftentimes we are able to handle disputes that may have otherwise escalated, maybe into court or litigation. And then also we want to give businesses an opportunity to have a voice to resolve complaints that may have escalated. And at the same time, very often we have consumers who equally need a voice. So there are certainly bad players out there, and it's also, we feel, our job to kind of sound that horn. But at the same time, there are some really great quality businesses in Central Florida, and we do our best to make it as easy as possible for consumers to find those businesses.
And not only that, but I would think it's also a great opportunity for businesses to separate themselves from the pack when they're accredited and they have these great ratings, to be able to say, listen, I know there's a lot of such and such out there that you have to choose from, but I'm an A+, Better Business Bureau accredited business. So you want to put your money and your trust with me.
Well, certainly your accreditation speaks for itself, and accreditation is something that businesses have to earn. And certainly just because you are willing to get your wallet out does not mean that we are willing to receive your payment. You have to meet those standards. You have to apply for accreditation, and you have to maintain those standards. You have to continue to be responsive to your consumers. You have to continue to live up to your promises. You have to continue to be properly licensed and meet all of those benchmarks that are set for your industry. So, it's not just about applying and becoming accredited. It's about staying accredited, because we know consumers expect of us that if you're going to be wearing the BBB accredited business seal on your truck or on your employees, we want that to mean something. And it means so much to us that our brand is protected that we eagerly will review a company for a pattern of complaints. We will eagerly put someone on suspension or revoke their accreditation, because I don't want to erode that brand value, because I want it to continue to mean something for consumers and for businesses.
Well, look at how many businesses that we hear of in the news who are suffering horribly because of poor judgment on their part, allowing business practices that greatly hurt the consumer's wallet, and their stock has shown, in comparison. We remember when you take advantage of us in our wallets, and we will respond in kind by not filling your coffers as much. Of course, I'm not going to name any businesses in particular, but we all have heard about them in the news and how they've suffered because of consumer sentiment. When it gets that kind of wave mentality, where it can really sweep a business under the carpet if they're not careful.
Right, and BBB accredited businesses. Certainly, we offer that roster of accredited businesses to the consuming public, but arguably one of the more valuable things that we offer to the public at large are reports on those businesses who are not accredited and who you should look out for. And so before signing a contract, before spending the money, before giving the deposit, just check the report. We are not saying that if you are not an accredited business, you are not a quality business. That is not what we're saying. We are saying you should look at what's their reputation management look like? Are they responsive to their consumers? Are they responsive to their customer reviews? Because guess what? If they do not respond to complaints, if something goes wrong in your deal, you think you're going to be the special one that they respond to?
Yeah, good luck with that. And it's,
right.
Every consumer reporter that you watch on TV, whether they're reviewing a plumber, a restaurant, a contractor, one of the things they always mention is their rating with the Better Business Bureau and generally their response time when it comes to responding to consumer complaints.
Right.
Because like you said, that's really important to know as well.
And another thing that we try to remind the public of is if you go to look for a job, if you're on the job hunt, or if you're looking for vendors to support your own business, check with the Better Business Bureau. Look to see, are they responsive? Is their reputation important to them? If you're going to work for a business, if you're applying to work for a company and they're not responsive to their customers, how do you think they're going to treat their employees?
That's a very good point. I would have thought, that's a very good point. Not only that, they may end up asking you to partake in business practices that you would consider unethical and would want no part of.
Right. So if your own personal ethics and if transparency is important to you, not only as a consumer, but obviously also as an employee, Better Business Bureau is a great place to start. And you can find those reports and you can find that information at findbbb.org. You can search for by company name, by email address, you name it. But certainly we want to encourage people to look before they spend. We would much rather you use our services on the front end than file the complaint later. We'll be there when you need to do that, but we want to encourage consumers to be educated and so that they don't have to go through the hassle of having a transaction or having a deal go bad. Yeah,
because it's just like you said, if you're looking for vendors as well, you're a business looking for vendors to support your business, and you don't do that kind of thorough vetting, their problems can swiftly become your problems.
Yeah, spend your money once and spend it wisely.
My dad used to teach me that when it came to cutting wood. He said, measure twice, cut once.
That's right.
Yeah, there you go. We learn something new every day, don't we? So how can what's the easiest way for them to find the information about the business in question? Maybe they've had a contractor show up at their door wanting to take down that tree that's been, kind of hanging around since Irma or whatever the case may be. Where do they go to the easiest way to find information? Right.
So we still have contractors and roofers and tree guys knocking on doors, cleaning up hurricane debris. And we would recommend that consumers find that BBB information at findbbb.org. You can, like I said, search by company name. Or if you don't know where to start and you just need a roofer, or you just need a contractor, or you just need an attorney, we can provide that to you as well.
You mean like Justin R. Clark and Associates?
That's right. So
Esquire,
an attorney you can trust, right? You want to make sure that above all, if you're going to and trust someone like an attorney with your financial woes, your debt, things like that. That's putting a lot of faith and trust in someone and a lot of personal information. And you want to make sure that that's certainly an attorney who is on his game.
I have a BBB question. May I?
Yeah,
absolutely.
So BBB in my mind is absolutely the Rolls Royce of reviewing business, isn't it? I mean, it always has
like
been.
Zagat or Zagat, however you pronounce it. When you see the decal on the outside of a business, you can trust it when you're going in.
You have been, and you still are, and remain the Rolls Royce, really, of that kind of business. How do you guys stay so advanced in this new world of social media? And you can go review anyone anywhere, but we're at a point where you can't even trust these review sites.
No, because
you have no idea.
You find out that someone's being paid to write a either good review or a bad review. So yeah, exactly.
But when it comes to BBB, we as a community still trust you and will always trust you. How do you guys remain such at the forefront of that?
Well, and I appreciate you saying that, but I don't take for granted, and I won't take for granted that you'll always trust me. I have to, and we have to make sure every day that we're staying on top of it and that we are continuing to honor and earn the respect of our community and of our marketplace. Let's talk about customer reviews. BBB held back on customer reviews for a long time. We didn't want to do it until we could do it right. We didn't want to be a place where people could get online late at night and air their dirty laundry or talk bad about their competitors, talk bad about their ex-husband, or fluff up their husband, fluff up their wife's business, etc., and file fake reviews. So we came up with a process. We came to the market when we really felt strong about the customer review process. Our customer reviews are vetted in the same way that our complaints are. Once a consumer files a customer review, there are some validation steps that take place. If the company comes back and says, look, I've never heard of this person before, we're going to go back to the consumer and say, look, now the burden of proof is on you. We need you to produce some documentation, produce some details, because otherwise we're not posting this unless you can prove there was a transaction or that you actually, were involved with this business. This is not the place where you get to come and just, blast someone in customer reviews.
Yeah, be an internet troll like we see so often.
Right.
Well, coming up after the break, Justin, I'm going to have a question for you as well as you, Holly, because there were some arrests in Hillsborough County that have a direct result on consumers who are still dealing with storm damage. Again, the storm may be long gone, but all you have to do is drive anywhere in Central Florida, and you still see piles of storm debris sitting around, tarps on people's roofs. So there are still folks out there who are dealing with home repairs who are unfortunately been the subject of fleecing. So we're going to handle that when we get back from the break. Again, if you want to give Holly or Justin a call, please do so at 407-916-5400. Text us because chances are you're sitting somewhere in traffic. 23680 standard message and data rates apply. Once again, just a quick break, but we'll be right back with Drive Time with Holly on News Radio 102.5 WFLA.
Welcome back to Drive Time with Holly. Business and consumer news you can trust.
And welcome back to Drive Time with Holly. I'm Deborah Roberts, your guest host for this evening, filling in for Mike Yaffe, joining me, of course.
Holly.
Yeah, and
Justin.
Rookie move.
Yeah, rookie move, absolutely.
The mic normally comes back on. No?
Yeah.
I didn't hit off. Rob, it's Rob's first night, ladies and gentlemen. He's new here.
He doesn't know. Yeah, he doesn't know who you are. We'll explain it to him during the next break. But back again, thank you for joining us this evening. Holly, the CEO at the Better Business Bureau here in Central Florida, Justin Clark with Justin R. Clark and Associates, Esquire, but really a very, very well-known and very accomplished attorney here in Central Florida, and one of those great attorneys who really is on the side of people who feel ripped off or have been ripped off, which is kind of the segue I had hinted at before the break. I had done this news story today about 8 people being arrested in Hillsborough County for allegedly fleecing homeowners after Hurricane Irma. Holly, you had mentioned before the break that there's still a lot of folks out there who have contractors showing up on their front doorstep to get that tarp off their roof, take that tree down, maybe fix their kitchen. Well, in an undercover investigation, detectives had posed as homeowners. They reached out to more than 300 individuals. 120 responded. Wow. Out of those 120, 8 were arrested and 80 are facing charges. That's a good number of people that are out there looking to take advantage.
That shows you how widespread it is.
It is. And even though the storm is almost 2 months. Literally tomorrow will be 2 months since Irma hit on September 9th, around that time. We still have a lot of folks in Central Florida and elsewhere throughout the Sunshine State who are dealing with this. Now, Jim Blake with Hillsborough County Building Services says homeowners have to make sure that anyone they hire to do work is legally licensed. After we hear his clip, I want to get your take on it.
There's no such thing as a handyman's license, okay? Anybody contracting, whether it's painting a house, laying carpet, doing tile, are required to be licensed.
He's also warning that homeowners, renters, anyone who's going to be laying out money for home repairs needs to be very wary of any contractor who requires you to pay cash up front for any work.
Yeah.
Are you at the Better Business Bureau still dealing with a lot of consumers who are running into these kinds of issues?
Yes. And I know that because the number of calls pertaining to roofs and trees and water damage is up there. And what we remind consumers is for those consumers who are not dealing with catastrophic damage, I wanted to hit on that especially for our business owners who are listening. Take heart. We are reminding consumers to be patient because we understand that business owners are still working towards dealing with the most catastrophic damage first. But we are also reminding consumers you should not be paying large deposits up front. Yes, there are many legitimate quality businesses, especially in roofing and large scale repairs, who are going to require a deposit of some sort, basically money in earnest, to get on their list of repairs. So that we're not saying that that's a red flag at this point.
Right. A deposit is different than like pay for the job all up front before I even get started.
Absolutely. And if someone shows up at your door and they have these mysterious extra supplies, or they're offering to get your job done in a time frame that is just, the stuff that dreams are made of.
My favorite is, hey, I'm just passing through town after being here for a couple of weeks taking care of hurricane damage. Right. And I noticed, that you've got a blue tarp or a tree limb or a tree that needs to be taken down. And listen, I'll do it for you. $200 right now. I'll take care of it. Cash money. I'll take, because I'm leaving. I'm on my way out of town. I just thought I would help one more hurricane victim. What could go wrong? I'm just going to help one more hurricane victim on my way back home.
Right. So you get into all kinds of problems. The repairs, best case scenario, the repairs get done and they may not be up to your standards. Gosh, they may not even be up to code. But worst case scenario, what if that person comes to take down that tree? They have no proper training. They're not properly licensed. They don't have, their own insurance and protections. So they get hurt on your property. Your problems have just ballooned and gotten so much bigger and so much worse.
Or the tree falls on your neighbor's house, pokes a hole through their roof, and now you have to be responsible for their repairs.
Right.
And possibly even being sued over it.
Yeah. We're like you said, we're 2 months out from the storm, but consumers still have to be very vigilant about who's offering to provide those services. Are they properly licensed? Are they responsive to complaints? Heck, are they even located in Central Florida? Now, look, we don't say that all storm chasers are bad guys, but if a repair person or if a roofer comes to offer services to you and they are a Kansas City-based business, let's say, they do your repairs, they re-roof your house, or they do the repair, where are they going to be a year or 2 years from now when it comes time for you to make a claim on that warranty? Are they going to come back to make those warranty repairs? Those are things that consumers still have to consider because, like you said, not all repairs have been done. To the sheriff's point, a couple of guys in a wheelbarrow, just because the price is right, that's not good. It's just not good enough.
No, it's not. And it doesn't leave you enough legal recourse, which is where I go to you, Justin. Have you been seeing a lot of consumers who are having these kinds of issues? And another thing I wanted to ask you is, there's been a lot of brouhaha lately about this advanced benefits. You get your insurance company. Assignment of benefits. Yes, thank you, Holly. There's been a lot of talk about that and a lot of confusion among consumers. So what have you been seeing in your practice?
So let's talk about first who to hire. And Holly, you and I talked about this at length a few weeks ago. There's some real red flags out there that you need to watch out for. Number one, most reputable contractors that I talk to will tell you they're not going to go door to door to door to door, knocking
have
on your
time.
door,
They don't
trying
need to.
to get
Yeah,
your
they
business.
don't need to. Exactly.
They do not need to. So that would be the number one red flag if someone's coming to knock on your door, just randomly saying, "Hey, you need any help?"
Hey, I'm passing through town on my way out. Don't fall for the sob story or the Good Samaritan Act, in other words, as well.
And then look at certain things like look at their shirt. I mean, does it have their business name on their shirt? Look at their truck. Does their truck have, is it wrapped, or does it at least have a little sign on it so you know these are real people? Or are they coming around knocking on your door driving a Camaro with T-tops or something like that? You really need to be observant of these sort of things because that's what you're getting. That's who you're hiring now to fix this roof in your house and make sure your kids aren't getting rained on every night.
Or you're not getting water damage that you can't see until now you've got a mold problem and an even bigger issue with your insurance company.
A fantastic point. And I'll go a little further than Holly. I want you to hire contractors who are licensed in the state of Florida.
Yeah,
because I've seen too many times where these people come in from Alaska or wherever they are, do the work. Now they're back in Alaska, right? Now there's something wrong with your house. What do? We're going to go sue them in Alaska, chase them down to come fix the shoddy repair work. We have enough contractors here. I really think there are enough licensed Florida contractors. And I will say the state's been doing a pretty good job of regulating these contractors as well. They're not taking any nonsense from them. I mean, if you're going to be a contractor and work without a license, be very careful because you can go to jail.
Yeah, and Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi does not play when it comes to the fraudsters that started preying on Hurricane Irma victims. It was only a couple of days where you heard about price gouging, even at a 7-Eleven she used to go to in Pinellas County, where she took them to task publicly because of price gouging. So I do commend the state of Florida for the fact that they are very bulldogish when it comes to protecting consumers from the fraudsters. And the other thing I wanted to ask you about these out-of-state contractors is not only if there's a problem down the road, how are you going to contact them, but you're also looking at the fact that they may not even really know Florida code, which usually changes after every major storm.
Yeah, and that's a really big deal, especially when you're talking about water removal, mold remediation, and repairing roofs in the state of Florida. You know, what it takes to put on a roof, what it takes to repair a roof, and do a quality, safe job by Florida hurricane standards is very different than what it looks like in the state of Tennessee or
Kansas.
Right, exactly. So you want to make sure that that contractor knows what they're talking about and knows. And when you go to sell your house, if you have had a roof put on by someone who didn't know what they were doing and didn't do it to Florida standards,
guess what?
You're about to have a problem. And then water removal, mold remediation. Nobody grows mold like the state of Florida.
Isn't that the truth? We're so lucky.
It's a pride point.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's a selling point.
We're
I really
damp.
think it is. We are damp. Well, they say that's what keeps us looking so much younger than people in the Southwest.
Is that what it is?
It's the humidity in the air because it's so dry out west. They all look like an old leather bag. But then you come here where we always seem we're a little dewy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right, Holly. You and I are dewy. You boys are just sweaty.
That's right. So when it comes to removing water and then drying out a home, drying out drywall, drying out carpet to make sure that the mold doesn't grow, or getting rid of the mold to Florida standards, not only for the resale value of your home, but for the safety and the health of your family.
Yes.
You better make sure that you're dealing with someone who knows how to do it by Florida standards.
That is the absolute truth because as you yourself say, and Justin as well, I mean, both ends of the spectrum are saying if you don't do the proper research before you lay down your money, the money you could be laying out down the road could be exponential.
Right. And you, like we said before, you only want to pay once. So if you pay a large amount of money up front, pay a large deposit up front, God forbid cash, then when it comes time and that job doesn't get done to your standards, it doesn't get done to the standards of your insurance company, you're going to have to do it again.
Yes. And that's money. That's more money out of your pocket.
Right.
So you saved nothing.
Well, and your insurance company may only pay once, very likely, and Justin can speak to that. And you may have to really fight to get it paid for the first time. And so you have to follow their rules. You sometimes have to use their providers. And if you go off script and hire the person that comes knocking on your door or hire your buddy to do it, the chances of that being reimbursed or the chances of those expenses being covered, you may be left holding the bag.
And most likely you will be.
You can only afford to do it once. And
Yes.
I'll give you, Deborah, my opinions on the insurance side of this thing in a few minutes.
All right.
Stick around.
Oh, excellent. Wow, you can tell he's got some flavor on him after the last 5 years, huh?
He's done this before.
Oh, yeah, he has. You could tell. He's blushing a
Once or
little bit
twice.
right now, but yeah, excellent. But he is right. We are going to be taking another quick break. But when we do come back, we're going to be talking more with Holly and Justin and hopefully taking your phone calls and your text messages, 23680. Standard message and data rates apply. Give us a call, 407-916-5400. We'll be right back on News Radio 102.5 WFLA.
Welcome back to Drive Time with Holly. Business and consumer news you can trust.
I'm digging on this reggae beat.
I like it.
You've got good choice in
Right?
music. Oh,
Is
there
that
we
a
go.
Holly Stamets choice right there?
All of it, all the intro, the outro, the bumps, they're all me because I wanted to make sure that it was going to reflect my personality.
Do you know why she's so good
Seriously?
at radio, Deborah?
I need, but real quick, before when we're done, I need to get with you and find out exactly what that tune was right there.
I got it for you.
All right, cool.
So
Excellent.
Holly is a proud graduate of the Communications College at the University of Tennessee.
That's
Oh,
right.
really? I thought she was an LSU Tiger fan.
No way, Jose.
No.
Guess where I
I'm
graduated.
within hitting distance. Hang on a second. Okay, wait.
This has not been the season for us to be too defensive.
No,
so
no.
we'll let it slide this year.
Okay, good,
Yeah.
good. I'm a Packers fan who just lost their quarterback and just helped the
Yeah.
Detroit Lions win for only the second time in Lambeau Field in 20 years. So
You get it.
it's a little painful.
Yeah.
But where did you graduate from?
Communications College, University of Tennessee.
Right.
Same place. We had no
Really?
idea until I came up here and did the show with her one time.
Right.
Wow, that's
I know.
crazy.
Same professors and everything.
I was wondering why you had mentioned that you were going to be taking your son to his very first
Yes.
Tennessee game,
Right.
which happens to be against the LSU Tigers.
That's right. So Justin and I had a lot of the same professors. We sat in the same classrooms, never knew each other.
That is
Crazy.
crazy.
I
And then
know.
we find each other in Orlando. So it's always nice to meet a comrade.
That's right.
And this football season in particular, you have to know who your friends are to know where you can find some comfort. But
Well, everybody stinks this year anyway. The Gators stink, FSU stink, except for
Sorry,
UCF.
I was going to say
I'm
UCF.
sorry.
Right.
I'm sorry.
No, I mean, but that's a huge deal for us here. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
18th ranked in the country. That is awesome. Go Knights. But yeah, FSU, UF, they're having a tough year.
But every Gator fan, every Seminole fan, and probably every Volunteer fan still thinks we could beat them this year. Don't you
of
think?
course.
Oh, right.
Even, they're
Absolutely.
19. They have a weak schedule. Whatever.
Absolutely. Well, being from originally from the state of Wisconsin, I didn't go to UW-Madison, but I do root for the Badgers because my college team,
We could beat them too.
the nuns that I went to high school with could beat them. Yeah, technically the only one of our sports teams that made any news of note was our hockey team.
Got
You ever
it.
hear of the Blue Devils? Not Duke.
exactly.
Not Duke. This is the University of Wisconsin Stout. When in doubt, go to Stout.
So Justin and I, when we found each other, we are both.
Stop it! You're going to make me get all misty.
I know, we found each other. We're both proud to be able to use these skills that we learned in school,
Yeah.
and our parents are proud that we're using what they paid for.
Exactly.
This is not our day job. I am president and CEO of Better Business Bureau of Central Florida. Justin obviously is an attorney that has who knows how many hats he wears every day.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about a couple of the things that his firm specializes in. But yeah, the radio thing is a fun way for us to be able to use the skills that we learned. And then also talk about something that we're passionate about.
And, your parents are a lot happier than mine because they paid for half a degree. And I don't know about graphic design doesn't really help you out when you're broadcasting on the radio. Yeah, broadcast professional. But I love what I do.
That's what counts.
I wear a lot of hats as well. And I think it's moments like this, all the joking aside, but that was fun, guys. Thanks. These are the moments where radio really shines because we don't need all the bells and whistles of TV or the internet. This is where we get to connect as a community and as fellow consumers who are going to the same stores. We're hiring the same professionals to work on our homes. And this is an opportunity for us to take that passion for protecting each other and each other's wallets and making a real difference for someone who's sitting in their car who maybe, Justin, before we went to the break and we were talking about these assignment of benefits,
Right, AOB.
AOB, these, being fleeced as a homeowner, trying to get that blue tarp off your roof. These are those moments, that we could be impacting that person sitting in traffic wondering, what am I going to do?
Right. So we wanted to make sure that with Drive Time with Holly, that this wasn't just straight Better Business Bureau tips and tricks, right? We wanted to make sure
Not
that
with
you
me
could,
here. I can guarantee you that.
you could pick the brain of experts from a variety of industries and make use of that time that you're sitting in the car. Make it a little bit entertaining, but also hopefully you walk away each week with some information that you can use. Maybe you're not using it now. Maybe you don't have a blue tarp. Maybe you're not considering bankruptcy. But at some point in your life, you or someone else that you know, maybe you'll be able to use this information. And I can't always, and Justin can't always, share all the expertise or share all the information that we want to share with everyone. And this really gives us a great platform to be able to reach and hopefully help a lot of people.
Well, I've already learned a lot tonight about different ways of using the information that the Better Business Bureau gathers about different businesses. I had never thought about using it in a job search,
Right.
which is a great idea for a millennial, for anyone out there who is looking to get a job, who wants to make sure that they're going to be working for the company that's the right fit for them. Or if you have a business, like Justin with your practice, and you want to get a vendor, it's important that you vet them and find out their reputation, not maybe only from colleagues in the business, but from the Better Business Bureau, an independent third-party review who can tell you whether or not, again, their problems are going to become your problems if you don't do the research beforehand.
Well, and two, letting consumers' voices be heard, let consumers who have had experiences, whether they be positive or not, because you can file a positive customer review. So those are important for us to receive as well, because for years we had business owners saying, well, consumers can only come and complain to you. Can't they say something nice, or can't they say something positive? Well, yes, now they can. So yeah, we would much rather provide information, be one of those sources you go to before you make a buying decision, so that you don't end up needing.
I was just about
right?
to say, but that's the perfect segue into Justin's services, because oftentimes that's exactly what happens, right, Justin? They have to retain your services as an attorney because the insurance company isn't paying their claim.
Yeah. I mean, how about start with the insurance company?
Let's.
You can research your insurance company. What people don't do enough of, really, is they get stuck with the same insurance company for year after year. Meanwhile, their rates are going up and up and up and up and up.
Well, I think about back in the day when, that customer loyalty meant something.
Yeah.
You know the same company. You don't want to have to shop around. You're busy. It just
My
send
family's
payment.
always used that company.
I'm third generation with this company. Right. There's a lot of reasons, but you're right. Go ahead.
And in
take us to
1960,
task.
you could also go to your local branch of your bank
and
get something done. Now you go to the local branch and they give you a 1-800 number to call the home office, because we don't know how to help you here on the local branch. I'm sorry, we're in a different society now. The loyalty. Let me tell you about loyalty. You've paid
fired him up.
You've paid your insurance premium, same company, right? For your car, your house, everything, to the same company for years and years and years and years.
Until that one
never
claim.
used them.
Yep.
Never had a claim, right?
Yep. Nope.
Now a hurricane rolls through your house, and you file a claim, and you're like, "Well, I've been such a good customer for so many years. I know they're going to send an adjuster there, and they're going to really just fix my house exactly how it was before, and they're going to do everything right." I have news for you. There are many insurance companies out there, when they come to your home to do this inspection and see what's going on, I promise you, they are telling their adjuster to write you a check for as little as they possibly can.
Well, of course. And again, the verbiage that they use during that appointment, is this your claim? Is this all that you need to claim? A lot of folks don't know that the most important words to say at that moment are "at the moment."
And another thing, you hire lawyers all different ways, right? You hear about these guys on TV. If you have a car accident, we're going to take a third of the recovery. Or you come hire my law firm and you have to pay a $10,000 retainer or whatever it is. These types of cases, there's no reason to not go talk to a lawyer before you accept the amount, because you do not have to pay the lawyer's fees. What I mean by that is there's no contingency fee. So if, let's say the insurance company now is going to come give you $30,000, you do not give a percentage of that to the lawyer. The insurance company has to pay the lawyer fees completely outside of that. So these types of first-party insurance cases, literally the legal fee is free. And if any lawyer says, well, I'll handle the case, but I want a third of what we get from the insurance company, you need to fire them or walk out of the office right away, because that's not how it should happen. The insurance company has to pay your lawyer's fees if they're able to get you more than they originally offered, or if there was originally a denial and then that lawyer got you paid or got your house fixed. the insurance company has to pay their fees. So be careful about that.
Now, can someone come and bring their claim, what their insurance company, what the adjuster said, and bring it to you along with their damages and say, what should I do?
Sure.
I mean, at what point does a homeowner engage with you before they get to that critical point?
Absolutely. Feel free to run it by me. Sometimes people will call and say, yeah, that looks like a pretty fair amount. Yeah, and I'm happy to do that for you. I would never charge anyone to do that. My clients call me all the time to ask me what they should or shouldn't do. There's no charge for that. But even if you do have to hire me or some other lawyer, there is no fee. There are no legal fees whatsoever. So be very careful. Don't just accept whatever they give you because you think that you've been a fantastic customer for all these years. Many of these insurance companies, some are good, but many of them have marching orders to stroke you a check for as little as they possibly can.
Because listen, they're in the business to make money, and they make money by paying out as little money as possible. Don't fall for the commercials. I think that's one of the biggest mistakes we make. We fall for them pulling at our heartstrings. And again, like you said, Justin, that's really what the loyalty comes down to. It comes down to the loyalty of the almighty dollar. And the only way they make many, many dollars is by trying to give us as few as necessary. And yet, when a hurricane rolls through your house, that's not when you want to be nickel and dimed when you're a third-generation customer of a big insurance firm.
Just be very careful. That's all there is to it. Be careful, and you can do your research with BBB prior to hiring the insurance company. And then certainly when it comes to the contractor to make the repairs. No doubt about it.
Well, listen, this has been, Holly, I know we have still so much more to say, but Rob's back there breaking it. So we are going to take just a really quick commercial break, but we're going to be right back with Drive Time with Holly, and we're going to be talking with Holly and Justin and hopefully taking some of your phone calls and your text messages. But we'll be right back on News Radio 102.5 WFLA.
Let's be better consumers. You're listening to Drive Time with Holly.
Sorry, busted on laughing on the mic. Sorry. I love your rejoiners, Holly.
Now you're getting a glimpse of the real Drive Time with Holly, who Holly is.
I want that iPad.
I do too. I like that, Holly.
Share.
Yeah.
Please do.
That's very cool.
Thanks.
That's very cool. And thank you for joining us for a Drive Time with Holly. We don't have a lot of time left, but Holly and Justin Clark from Justin R. Clark and Associates, a great law firm that can help with insurance needs. But that's not all that you do. You also do a lot of work with folks who are going through foreclosures and bankruptcies. Is that correct?
All the time. Yeah, we do tons of bankruptcy. Believe it or not, the economy is recovering, but there are a lot of people who, because we were in the epicenter of the financial collapse, really, right here in Central Florida.
Yes, we were.
A lot of people still are dealing with debt tailing them around. Well, it just won't go away.
Wages have not. I mean, really, the economic recovery really kind of took off this year. You know, the Federal Reserve was confident enough to raise interest rates. We've seen strong economic indicators, but wages are still soft. And for a lot of folks, you can't pay off debt if you're still struggling to pay the bills you've got right now.
Here's what I see. People want to buy a house again, right? They know that the interest rates are still great. They're like, look, I want to get back in the housing market, Justin, but I've got all this credit card debt that I haven't paid. I have these repos from a few years ago. What do I do? But I don't want to kill my credit, so I don't want to file bankruptcy. Well, here's the deal. The credit is already terrible. You haven't paid your credit cards. You had a foreclosure. You had a repo. The first thing I do before I file bankruptcy for someone is I pull a credit report. And it shows me in a very scientific method what your score is today and what the score will be 12 months from the day we file. And inevitably, if your credit is already bad, it's going to go up by like 200 points. And then you always hear the rumors about, well, if you file bankruptcy, you can't get a mortgage for 7 years or 5 years. And it's simply not true. Lenders are lending again. I have lenders that are giving mortgages to people directly after bankruptcy discharge or 1 year after bankruptcy. So you have a few options. One is you can call up American Express and all the credit cards that you have and try to resolve them or pay them off and wait on their credit to come back. Or you can just whack all this nonsense, start building the credit back, and it happens pretty much right away, and you're back in the housing market before these interest rates do go up. So to me, bankruptcy, while it has a little bit of a bad rap, is actually one of the most life-saving, at least financially life-saving things that you can do. It's a no-brainer most of the time when I see people who have bad credit already. The fastest way to repair the credit is by filing that bankruptcy.
Wow. I would have thought it was completely opposite advice.
Yeah, Justin, what would you say if for listeners, how do they know when is the time to come and have that conversation with you? How deep do I have to be? What does my credit score What are the signs?
The signs are at the end of the month, I don't have a lot of money left, number one. I'm making a decent living, but by the time I pay my health insurance, the taxes, there's nothing left over at the end of the month. Or number two, I'm feeling like I just want to feel normal again. I'm so tired of having bad credit, and I'm having American Express call me over and over because I owe them money. Those two times, you feel like you're running out of money, you only have $2 at the end of the month, or you're just tired of having the bad credit, come see us. It doesn't cost anything. You know, I've done thousands of them. I'd love to talk to you anytime.
Because I'm sure there are people who come to talk to you, and you may say, look, this is not a good case for you. You do this, you do that, and you're going to work it out. Bankruptcy is not right for everyone, but it's important to have a professional give you advice.
I tell people all the time to leave my office. There's nothing that we can do. I'm always here for you, but there's nothing we can do. I'm not going to tell you to do it if I don't absolutely believe it.
Right.
And thank you guys so much for having me on, by the way. Holly, it's always great to see
Yeah.
you. David Wheeler, Rob Galbraith. It's been forever, brother. It's good to see you, man. And Deborah, I feel like I haven't seen you in I don't know how long.
You haven't. You've had children since I last saw you.
And they've turned 5.
And they've once turned 5. When you were saying something about his little girl, I was like, what? Where have I been? What's going on? David, give us a shout out from the background, babe. Come on. Hey. Listen, thank you, Holly, for giving me the opportunity to fill in tonight for Mike Yaffe. It's been a great hour. Justin, it's been awesome seeing you.
You got it, my love. Good to see you.
David, you and I, fast new friends. Okay, we're paisan. Me familia, you familia. All right. Thank you again for having me. In the meantime, you can join me bright and early here tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. for Good Morning Orlando with the latest news, weather, and traffic with Bud Hedinger and myself, Deborah Roberts. Thank you so much for joining us on News Radio 102.5 WFLA, and keep listening to Drive Time with Holly.